Its host, Ron Spomer's eagerly anticipated return to Nebraska's premier deer destination, Laughing Water Ranch, on this Winchester World of Whitetail.
Boy, this is just outstanding country to hunt big bucks in. I love it.
Not only do they have big bucks and lots of them, but they've got a lot of land that you can hunt.
We've got deer out in the field, and there's a big, tall, 4x4. It looks like heavy beams and massive.
I ranged them at about 330 yards.
Turn broadside. Here goes.
Winchester's World of Whitetail.
Boy, this is great. This Niobrara River Valley in Nebraska is something else. I've drooled over it for years and years when I was a kid in South Dakota, just looking down here on the maps, it looked good. And when I come to the area, not very often, but the times I did, saw all these cedars and these breaks and trees and ponderosa pines and deciduous woodlands down here. It just looks like deer heaven. They've got turkeys, they've got whitetails, they've got mule deer. Here on Laughing Waters Ranch, they've even got bison running up on the hills. I mean, it's just a slice of paradise. Yeah, this will be great. Park behind this old bale pile right here. They'll never see me coming. Oh yeah, this is good. You can see the river through the trees right down there. You can hole up back in a tree somewhere here. That should work. Will the big buck come out? God, I hope he comes out. They have got some monsters on this place. I am so excited about the potential on this ranch. We had big ones last year we couldn't quite get the drop on, but we got a 4x4 that went 142. That's a heck of a 4x4. And when you see pictures of 6x6s with taller tines, like 14-inch tines on that thing, unbelievable. These are big bucks.
In November of 2010, we were pleasantly surprised here in northern Nebraska along the Niobrara River. They have whitetails, lots of whitetails, and really big whitetails. This strikes us as a bit odd up on the high plains where it's usually considered mule deer country, perhaps bison and antelope. But whitetails are pioneering into new places all over the country, and that's what we search for here on Winchester's World of Whitetail. The big question this year, can we duplicate last year's performance? Can we see the numbers of bucks and the quality of bucks we did then? Well, we're about to find out. We're back at Laughing Waters Ranch on the Niobrara River in Nebraska, and it could be an epic hunt on Winchester's World of Whitetail.
As a kid, Spomer saw Nebraska just over the rainbow. Growing up 150 miles away in South Dakota, Ron made sure he explored his neighbor state and hopes to repeat his previous successful experience at Laughing Water Ranch.
Here at Laughing Water Ranch Outfitters, we have extremely good whitetail hunting, buffalo hunts, good opportunities for mule deer once in a while. We hunt over hay fields, cornfields, the river. We got 7,000 acres here, and we're shooting 8 bucks a year off this ranch. Biggest buck we shot here to date is about a 166 7-pointer. It was a monster.
Boy, this is just outstanding country to hunt big bucks in. I love it. Lots of cedars for stalking. There's absolutely nothing out there but corn, trees, grass, and river. There's one already. I like that. I think it's just a doe. I see an ear, but I don't see any horn. There's a little fawn. See how far out there she is. It's getting to about 350 if they stay way back there. In this wind, that's a little bit tricky, but it's mostly in my face, so that won't bother too much. There's a little buck working the edge of the woods just inside the tree line. We got time. We got to let them come out more, I think.
I was really looking forward to this hunt because I had such a good one here last year. Took that 4x4 that went 142. That is a heck of a 4x4 buck. So I was hoping we could even up it, and one of the guides here just did not. had been really paying attention, putting out a lot of trail cameras and talking about some of the big bucks he was seeing. He said, Ron, you're going to love this because there are more bucks and bigger bucks than last year. And last year was pretty much outstanding. So this year is a notch up from that. This is just a great place to hunt. Not only do they have big bucks and lots of them, but they've got a lot of land that you can hunt. You're not stepping on someone else's toes and vice versa. You can take the time to look for that big buck without worrying about somebody else shooting him out from under you, and you can hunt the way you want to hunt.
Here's a nice 145 buck. A little light in the horn yet. He coming out? He'll cut across that field yet. There he goes. I can see his head. That's their walking path, all right.
Yeah, it's looking good. I like this spot. Love hunting off hay bales like this. You get a little elevation, you get some wind block, got a good support for your rifle, for your glass, everything works great. Oop, there's something.
There's a pretty good buck. Boy, the white antlers really show up against that dark timber. It's like a 4x4 walking over to where those doe were. Oh yeah, he's gonna check them out. There's a little buck there with him. Glad those bucks have antlers. It'd be tough to see. That doe is almost impossible. Yeah, a little buck, a big buck, looking a doe, not ready. That tells me the really big bucks are probably somewhere else because these guys are spinning around trying to find a doe and not. Means they've gotten beat out by the competition for the does that are ready. Man, we're gonna get one. We're gonna get a nice one here.
Deer are moving, and Spomer tries to narrow the field when we come back to Winchester World of Whitetail.
There, I figured to follow that creek right down there. That's about 250 yards. You look pretty good. I better take him. He stops broadside. Here goes.
Winchester's World of Whitetail is brought to you by Winchester Ammunition, the American legend, Ram Trucks, Guts, Glory, Ram. Dallas Safari Club, promoting conservation, education, and ethical hunting worldwide. Bushnell, the new laws of performance. And by Mossberg, field-proven performance.
Just the bucket. There, I figured to follow that creek right down there. I bet he'll come out that far end. Yeah, that's about 250 yards to 300 on the end. But I don't think I'm gonna shoot him yet. First day and all the big bucks they have here. Nice ones already.
Spomer's getting a handle on what Laughing Water Ranch has to offer, especially thanks to trail cams.
These farm lanes are great spots for buck travel, and here is the scrape right here, predictably. Broke it off, little rub tree, big scrape right down the old farm lane. They come out of those woods, head back this way towards that cornfield. Pretty good spot for a trail camera. Yes. Still there, camera? Know the quality of deer where you're hunting. If it's your old home country, you probably know when you've got a big buck for your area. When you go to someplace new, it's really nice to get a straight scoop story or report from your guide or outfitter. They've got it here at Laughing Waters. They have photographs of all their bucks, well, or a lot of their bucks, and some big ones. So you look at those and you say, oh, there's a 160 class, there's a 170 class. They got a lot of 5x5s, some really heavy 4x4s. You just study that and you get an idea of what to look for, what to expect. And then you can make your decision based on some good, solid information. Don't want a bunch of weeds blowing in the wind and setting that off. And now I'm ready to add the final ingredient, which is a little urine. And you don't need doe urine. Thought I couldn't do it, didn't you?
Boy, he's sticking into the timber. I thought he'd been out by now. Unless there's some does down there he's playing around with. That's a good sign, though. I figured something might come down that creek. I gotta watch two sides. Here comes another one walking along that edge. Well, that one's going at a good clip. Oh, that's that little buck again, a little forky chasing a doe. Boy, if they stay in that corner, we're gonna have to shoot them from here, because if we go in that corner, we'll be too low.
The secret to a clean, killing shot is a solid rest. But sometimes a hunter has to look for ways other than shooting sticks to anchor his crosshairs on a big buck.
If, heaven forbid, you forgot your shooting sticks, you may have to improvise in the field and use nature's shooting supports. And trees are an obvious choice, but too many of us, especially if we haven't hunted a lot, try the old limb shot. But it's really not a smart move because look at how those limbs bounce. And there's often branches in the way and you don't see them and that'll hit your bullet. So get down lower. Always get as low as you can for your shots. But using the tree itself to support the rifle isn't always easy. I find it to be just as successful and steady if I use it to support me. This old chicken wing flopping around out here, if I wrap in tight, get my forearm down on my knee, and then just use that tree to stop me from wiggling around, I'm as steady as if the rifle were supported against the tree. And it's a lot quicker to grab. You don't have to worry about all those little branches. So again, practice that stuff in the field before you go hunting. You don't have to actually shoot. Just see what works for steadying that rifle and holding the crosshair on your target. And then when you're in the field and the big buck shows up in an impossible situation, you know the best route to take for the steadiest shot possible. Oh, there's another one. He's got his nose down and he's trailing her. Oh, good, this will show us the route they take. See that right across the end of the field? Boy, that's low down there, though. They've got that little brush line in the way. Doggone it. That's about 320 yards right there. They can give us a slip right down there by sticking to that brush. He looks pretty good. Nope, main beam's not long enough. All we need are 190 more points of antler on that guy.
The chase goes on in Nebraska. Bucks chasing does, and Spomer chasing bucks.
We've got deer out in the field, and there's a big, tall, pine 4x4. It looks like heavy beams and massive. Once I identified that buck as one I wanted to take, I backed off into the cedar trees, eased into position, and then the action started.
Winchester's World of Whitetail is brought to you by Mossberg, field-proven performance. Sportsman's Warehouse, America's premier outfitter. Shop at one of over 30 locations or online at sportsmanswarehouse.com. Mossy Oak. It's not a passion, it's an obsession.
Oh, I see you got one of those Ram trucks with the box on the side. Does that deal work pretty slick?
Oh, I like it.
Yeah?
I actually do. Yeah, it makes it so easy to keep your rifle. You don't have to dig it in and out, you know? You can lock it up.
Oh, yeah.
And they've got rifle holders to put in here,
right.
But I add more garbage. I carry so much stuff around. I've got my tripod for my quadroscope, I got some muffs, I've got boots down in that well, but you know, I keep the rifles right in here, so when I go out for the morning's hunt or something, I just open it up. It's protected really well. Pull the rifle out, the barrel's pointing away from me when I'm driving down the road, but of course, you know, I keep it empty. So it's just sweet. It makes it so easy to get out of the truck. You don't, no matter what state you're in, you know, you've got all these different regulations about where you can have your rifle and stuff. It's out of the truck, it's out of danger, and it's got a good seal on here, so you don't get any water in. I think it's just a nifty idea. Everything you need, right where you need it in one place. I don't see how you can beat that. They've got fish holder rods you can stick
they
in
do?
there.
Nice.
Yeah, they really thought this thing out. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought I'd ever find a truck that had equipment boxes on it just for hunters.
I'd agree.
Past experience has taught Ron Spomer to expect big things on Nebraska's Laughing Water Ranch.
There's a buck chasing a doe up in the hills there. There he goes. Yeah, they're really up in the hills chasing. Just saw another buck chase a doe over the hill there, so boy, I think my theory's kind of holding out. Most of these big bucks get these does back up where you don't expect them in the hayfields and stuff. We're gonna keep hunting along this edge. We got a lot of does to get past. See, this is the problem. There's just does everywhere, and you can't move without bumping somebody. The upside, though, is there's so much activity, so many does running from bucks that just because a doe is running doesn't mean it's going to spook the other deer. They just assume it's another buck chase or something. So you just have to kind of push through it and hope to the best. But whenever a doe jumps up and runs like that, I watch her for a while because the buck could be working her and he thinks she's running from him. So he may still come out. Doesn't look like it's going to happen this time, though. Okay, now she's looking down around the corner there, so there's probably some other deer there that she looked at. Snorting is not a good thing, but they'll get over that too. Look at that cornfield right about down there, so we can loop in. Hope she hasn't spooked anything. Got deer out in the field, and there's a big, tall, pine 4x4. It looks like heavy beams and massive, but there are big bucks everywhere. We found one's bedded right here with a doe. The big bucks are driving these does up in the pockets and staying with them. The one out in the fields trying to get one separated. They're just going crazy right now. He can't move because every time he goes somewhere, there are more deer. But it's about as exciting as it gets, so we can keep easing along these trees. The cornfields on the backside of these cedars, so they can't hear us, they can't see us. But getting through the cedars is terrible. They're so thick. It's almost impossible to be quiet, but we got within 100 yards of these two, so we're gonna keep going.
Once I identified that buck as one I wanted to take, I backed off into the cedar trees, got deep into them. I thought I could go along the front edge, but I saw does out in the field already getting alarmed and looking up. So I thought I'd better get deep into them. And when I got into the trees, they're so thick, the branches are so low to the ground that I couldn't push through them. I had to crawl.
You're there. Looking over this way. I must have bumped one out of the trees.
The interesting thing was when I broke out onto that upper pasture, I started finding more whitetails. And that's classic for the rut. Big bucks up in the grass with a lone doe.
There he is. Oh, there's a good buck right there, too. He's coming to this other buck. He's got a closer distance. I might get a 300-yard shot, but I better be ready to shoot.
My guy with the long brow tines was still the biggest one, and he was still looking pretty good.
Nope, he's going back. I better take him. He stops, broadside. Turn broadside. Here goes.
Winchester's World of Whitetail is brought to you by Winchester Ammunition, the American legend, Ram Trucks, Guts, Glory, Ram, Dallas Safari Club, promoting conservation, education, and ethical hunting worldwide, Bushnell, the new laws of performance, and by Mossy Oak. It's not a passion, it's an obsession. Ron Spomer's found his Nebraska buck and is about to have one of his most unusual hunting experiences.
There he is. Got him. Oh, there's a good buck right there, too. 370. He's coming to this other buck. He's got a closer distance. I might get a 300-yard shot. Let's see.
My guy with the long brow tines was still the biggest one, and he was still looking pretty good. He was feeding away, get a little bit nervous, think you maybe should shoot him, get out the rangefinder, find out he's 370, 360 yards out. You know, it's a doable shot. The wind isn't blowing, but he's calm, he's still feeding, maybe he'll come closer.
He's coming in. Yeah, let him come. Oh, there comes another one. Everybody calm down. Challenges that buck, those they could start running. I better be ready to shoot. Nope, he's going back. I better take him. He stops broadside.
I ranged him at about 330 yards. That calls for a high shoulder shot with that 270 Winchester and 130 grain Power Max bonded bullet. It's going to drop about 8 inches, maybe 6 inches, somewhere in that range. Easy. High shoulder shot's going to drop it into the heart.
There, he's back to feeding. I'm not going to challenge him anymore. I think I'm going to take him. Because you never know when some crazy doe comes in. Just turn broadside. Here goes. Yeah. Oh, look at that. He acts like another buck. He's fighting him. Look at that. He turned around. He's got his antlers down like he's fighting another buck. There he goes. Down. Yeah. That was wild. I've never seen that before, but it makes perfect sense.
It goes to show you their frame of mind during the rut. All they're thinking about is getting at a doe and fighting off the other bucks for the chance. And when they feel some sort of poke or pain, they just assume another buck hit them. There's my antlers sticking up out of this grass. Look at those brow tines. That's what I thought I had. Look at those brow tines, huh? Oh, yeah. It's going to be in the 150, I'd say. Just point need to be a little better here, but lovely character.
Yeah, that's almost a 9-inch brow tine right there.
You just sort of have to learn that over the years of hunting, how these deer behave during the rut. Watch that animal's behavior and figure out what he is doing and is likely to do. In this case, he wasn't going anywhere because he had does out there. He was working those does and checking them out. Pay attention to their behavior. It's better to be slow and cautious, get into position without alerting those deer and spooking them. Then you're going to get a calm shot, and that's what you want. Well, that little backup camera makes it easy to get to your deer. Right on tailgate broadside now. There you go. Okay, let's take him home. Historically, the high plains were never anyone's idea of great whitetail habitat, but of course all that has changed, and Nebraska has proven it again this year. This Niobrara River Valley is incredible whitetail habitat, and you've seen it right here on Winchester's World of Whitetail. Turn into a possum. Little tail. Yeah. 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 Got us a possum. Hey, possum. Don't assume you're gonna get the biggest buck. When one steps out, just bless your luck. My mama told me you better shop around. Ow, ow, ooh.